Boda. I'm studying IBCP2 right now, and for this assignment, I'm here to interview.
Yeah, I'm Pankaj Rohra, and I'm already a restaurant owner in Chembur itself. This is another property of mine. Now I'm running the show over here. It's Grey Culture, and
Yeah. So, Porter's Five Forces is a framework developed by Michael E. Porter to analyze the competitive forces within an industry and assess the attractiveness and profitability. So, under that comes competitive rivalry, which assesses the intensity of competition among existing players in that market and whether there is high rivalry with price wars, advertising battles, and due to that, which may reduce profitability. Under that also comes set of new entrants, which examines how easy it is for new companies to enter this industry. High entry barriers such as patents, high capital needs, and these protect the existing firms. Then comes the bargaining power of suppliers, which measures how much power suppliers have over the pricing in this industry and whether there are more or fewer suppliers that are available for that specific industry. Then comes the bargaining power of buyers, which looks at the influence customers have on prices and quality. When there are fewer buyers who buy in large quantities or products that are similar, buyer power is strong. And then comes the threat of substitutes. Considers the availability of alternative products or services, which means more substitutes can mean that customers can easily switch, increasing competitive pressure. To explore these five forces, I interviewed the owner of Grey, a local business near my area, about his opinions about the current market space of restaurants in Chembur and how the consumers here are affecting their prices and the suppliers. So, let me tell you more about Grey. Grey Cravings opened back in 2021. It's a restaurant slash lounge, and it's based here in Chembur. They offer occasional live music and DJ nights, and the target audience here is from 21 to 30 at during the night, and in the daytime they accommodate from children to the elderly. As I found out from the owner of Grey that I interviewed, he also said that they host birthday parties, weddings in some occasions, and brunches. First, I asked Pankaj about what the competition is like here in the local area. I mean, the local area for me is Chembur. So, I wanted to talk to you today about what it's like to own a business here in Chembur in the local area and how other competitors are affecting you and how this business is affecting others. So, what's the competition like here? Like, since there's another big bar right across the street and next to you.
yeah, so that's social actually you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it creates a market. So even I feel it's good to have a competitor right next to you or sharing the same wall. So it becomes good for me also at times because people coming for the social. Since social is already a great player over here in the market, he's a brand now, of course, and we are not so old as social is. So it's good to have a brand, of course, next to you.
He welcomes competition with open hands, and he, especially from bigger brands such as Social, which is like nationwide, and he sees benefits in big players that open nearby. For example, there's a Social right next to Grey. There's a bar across the street from Grey, and it builds a shared customer base. Even though Social may have a bigger brand presence, but new entrants like the rooftop launch that is just just behind them are becoming serious competitors because they're offering more unique experiences compared to Grey. But Grey does offer their consumers new experiences, as they're offering live singers and others, which according to him the consumers cannot find very frequently in the local area. And what's the haps here? Like, if someone were to open a business like Grey around these parts, like in Chembur, what's the competition like? Is it really saturated market or still room for growth?
Yeah, I feel restaurant everybody feels like we'll just open another one. It's too easy, but yeah, actually it is not. So it is my personal thing is that in Chembur, if you're talking about, I don't think so there is any space left where you can just open a restaurant. So if you're talking about Grey, then yeah, this property is huge. I don't think so there is any other property which is bigger than this. It's quite big. We also cater over here for the we take outdoor caterings and all, buffets and parties. We do weddings over here at times. We have a lot of weddings also over here. So if talking about in this area, locality, I don't think so there is any other place where you can open such a big space in, like Grey.
Then I asked him, if another person were to open a bar or lounge in Chamber, how easy is it to enter this market? So so that's basically the threat of new entrants. The market in Chamber is really saturated. There's barely any space left for restaurants like Grey, and people assume that opening a restaurant is really easy, as he mentions. It's actually really hard to open a restaurant, especially due to investment constraints and space in areas. But as the size of Grey is pretty large, he does say that's a really good advantage for him, and as very few businesses in Chamber can match this quality of Grey.
So I wanted to now dig a little deeper into Grey itself. What do you think, like the suppliers for your food, beverages, other things that are involved in this business, do you think their pricing affects the pricing on your menu?
100% that's true. In fact, now we're just talking about the pricing affecting us. Yeah, now the government norms have just changed. So in that case, they have increased the taxes. Like in the liquor, they have increased it drastically. So now the normal liquor which was serving before, now it will cost more 40%. So we have to increase the menu rates as well. And that goes with the food as well. At times when this government changes the laws and just even the, any vegetables or something like that, so that affects the menu as well. And it becomes a problem for us. Yeah. So we just create a special draw line. So if it goes exceeds that, we'll have to change the menu.
Next, I asked him about his supplier's power. So I asked him whether his supplier for food, beverages, and other stuff, how does their pricing affect the menu at Grey? It affects the pricing on the menus directly, especially for beverages, food, and vegetables. The government regulations and tax hike has increased costs in the recent days, especially in beverages. So whenever supplier or tax costs go up beyond a certain threshold, he is forced to revise the menu prices and think about whether he would like to still offer them at a similar price where they'll be losing a bit of money, or where they'll be gaining a more of a profit but they'll be disappointing their
So
customer.
what do you think, does the local crowd in Chamber affect like your rates on the menu? Like for example, if Grey were to be an establishment in Vashi or Powai or in Bandra, do you think that would change the rates on your menu?
100% yes. Since actually, if you're talking about Chembur, I think the rates are not so high. If you're comparing with Bandra or if you're comparing with South Bombay, of course over there the rates are quite high. Opening a place over there, it's too expensive. The rentals will be too high. I think it will be more than twice, or maybe sometimes it should be thrice.
So you would say it would increase the price due to the rent, the hiring costs and stuff?
Yes.
But the supply
Supply is quite, I think it's the same. Yeah, it might affect 10% or maybe not more than 10% actually. But yeah, about the rental part, yeah, it will affect.
Next, I asked him about his buyer power, where I asked him whether the local crowd is affecting the prices on the menu, and if the restaurant were to be based in either Bandra or Vashi, how that would affect the prices. He said that it does affect the menu prices a lot, as The pricing is lower in Chambur compared to if it were in Bandra or South Bombay because of lower purchasing power. In a higher income area like Bandra, he'd need to charge more as the rent and cost of hiring is really high. But in places like Vashi, where the cost of rent in a developing area is still pretty low, the prices would be lower than they are right now in Chambur. Customers in Chamber are also price sensitive, so changes in the menu would also affect the customers that are already coming to Grey.
So, do you think in this area there is any other substitute bars or lounges that your customers would rather go to or would find the same service like live music and like
Yeah, I think there is a bar. I mean, there is a lounge actually, which has come up now with the rooftops.
yeah,
So
next level.
yeah, actually I'm
Yeah.
talking about that. I just don't wanted to take the name,
Yeah.
but still, yeah, that is I think he is a competitor, direct competitor for us. Not social, huh?
Yeah,
Because I think social also caters to the people who are having a age of 21 to 30, maybe yeah 35 max. But we cater to the people who are plus 30. I mean more than 30. So yeah, I think the direct competitor is next level. Who has a rooftop and some people like rooftops.
Yeah.
They are like
but
just an
you
open
wouldn't
area.
say like some direct competition, like same almost similar service. No,
I don't
right?
think so there is any similar direct competition. Yeah, but this food part, yeah, there are many enough. Because over here there is another property, Shy.
Yeah,
So even he has the same menu, I think, which we have.
yeah.
So there are a few outlets which.
But do you think Grey would be getting affected by them with like a lot, or you don't see anything in the future changing?
See, in restaurant business, I think it's more like you have to keep coming with new ideas, with new concepts, and with new menu as well. We'll have to introduce a few more items in the
Yeah.
menu, and that keeps up growing. You can't just keep up the same menu like before. Previously, in restaurant you must be seeing we just have Indian, tandoor,
Yeah.
and Chinese, and that's it. And the restaurant is done. Now we have come up with other items actually. Now we have Asian, now we have Italian, now we have Latin. So we have a good menu now.
Next, I asked him about the threat of substitutes. So, I've asked him if there is any other bars in the area which he thinks that they would get similar service or same or similar service as Grey. He said he doesn't think there are any places where they'd get the same or similar service as Grey, but he did say that since new type of bars are emerging, such as the rooftop bars, he doesn't see many replicas of his business, but menu similarities do exist. But he did say that menu similarities exist in areas that are near Grey, but to remain relevant, it needs to constantly update their menu and add cuisines like Asian, Italian to keep up with the customer trend.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I'm so glad I could get an interview with you. Thank
Same
you so
here.
much.
Prices actually range pretty similar between Grey and Social. Here's a comparison of their menus, and here is some images of Grey social media compared to social media. I would also like to add that Social's Instagram page is a way more professional compared to Grey, as Social is a comparatively larger firm than Grey and has a very large marketing budget, while Grey's marketing budget is not that high, and they rely on part-time and local photographers in order to get content for their social media. They also repost their consumers Instagram stories that they post when they come to the restaurant in order to build their social media. Here I've attached some pictures from my visit at Grey, and here are some customer reviews from Zomato and Swiggy. I also surveyed a few customers that go to Grey often, and this is the responses that I got. I began the survey by asking the respondents about their age group. Majority of them fell between 40 to 50 plus range. Next, I inquired about whether they had visited other bars, and most of them confirmed that they had, naming well known establishments such as Social and Next Level, which even he mentioned in the interview. However, a lot of them stated that they had not visited any others. When asked whether they would prefer those bars over Grey, most of them responded negatively, citing Grey's superior ambiance as the deciding factor. In terms of pricing, the majority felt that Grey's menu was priced reasonably and was pretty affordable. And for customer service, the average rating was approximately 4.5 out of 5, with most respondents giving a full 5-star rating. However, when it came down to uniqueness and innovation, the average rating was slightly lower at 4.3, with several participants suggesting that there was room for improvement in this area. Lastly, Grey's social media marketing received an average rating of 4 stars. This could be attributed due to a perceived lack of effective marketing strategies and outreach. So, for the reflection part of this project, I would like to talk about how I learned more about porters itself and how it's used in business a lot. My interviewee talked about how it is beneficial to have a bigger business right next to yours, as it doesn't drive away customers but also attracts customers when especially if it has a larger base such as social with Grey. And I also found out how porters is used in businesses every day, and I really got to learn more about that through this real life interaction with the business owner. And I also found out about more about Grey and their supplier power, buying power, and the businesses around in the local area. And I also, contradictory to what I thought, the thing with the social that's right next door, customers, they are more loyal. If they are more loyal to social, Grey's right next door, and they could visit anytime, just even if they're just bored of visiting social, which does give Grey an opportunity to get a larger customer base.